So now let's get comfortable and we'll start our practice. I hope everyone is feeling well today. Find your sitting bones and press them down into the floor if you're sitting. Of course, you're welcome to lie or to be sitting in a chair. And we'll just begin by bringing our awareness to our breath, moving in and out through our nostrils. So for some, it's nice to have eyes closed. For others, eyes open, you choose. Sometimes I find myself going between those two actually. Part of it, my eyes are closed, part of it, my eyes are open. And we'll begin by noticing any sounds in our space around us. Expanding our sense of hearing to include a further field of sound. Perhaps you can hear outside of the building. Maybe there's things going on within the building that you can hear. And let yourself smile, remembering none of this is really all that important. It doesn't need to be taken so seriously. We're just curious. We're interested in being self-aware. We're interested in expanding our capacity to stay open. And sometimes a smile and a laugh is exactly what we need to stay open. Gently pressing your tongue up into the roof of your mouth. Just notice as you do that, if that changes anything, where you can feel that take effect. Notice if there's any movement your body wants to do. You can always do the circles that we start with most morning, but perhaps there's something else your body wants to do. Listening and feeling for the impulse inside of you. Without any judgment of right or wrong. Maybe there's some movement in your shoulders, in your back, your heart. Maybe the fingers or the hands could soften a little bit more. Maybe the soles of the feet could soften a little bit more. And then when you're ready, settling into some stillness. Noticing yourself as you picture yourself sitting. Notice how you are in comparison to, or in relationship to, the furniture in the room, the walls. Be aware of how you are held in that space. All the while, this beautiful, gentle, nourishing breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. right down beneath the belly button, so deep within the navel. You can maybe picture a tiny little light, almost like a tea light. Deep within. This is called the dantian. A little light of contentment deep within the belly. You can maybe feel that expand. You might be able to feel the warmth. And this light, it moves, it flickers with your breath, just as a candlelight does. It's not stationary, it's got its own life force. You could call it the light of love inside of you. Doesn't need an agenda, doesn't need a commentary. It's just always there. A little flickering light of love deep within you. And so with the Tonglen practice, we get the opportunity to breathe in whatever is causing suffering for us. And we invite it in to be fully experienced, and we breathe it right down to the light of the dantian. Because we know and we trust implicitly that we have the capacity to absorb that without letting it overwhelm us. We can breathe it in, we can take it on, we can feel it and experience it, and then we transmute it in this light, in this flame. And so then we're able to exhale out an offering, a gift of the opposite of that suffering. So we invite in the darkness with our inhale, and we breathe out the light with our exhale. So let's start to do that, just visualizing darkness. For me, it's often a very dark, inky, velvety darkness that I breathe in. You might have your own shade, your own texture of darkness. Bringing it right the way down to below the tummy button. And then exhaling out the purest light. And letting that be breathed out into the world. It's not so serious. It's just an experiment. Are we able to stay open here? Familiarizing ourselves with the textures of our own experiential palette. Breathing in the darkness, taking it right the way down to the center of the navel. And breathing out the light. And then we can play with changing the texture slightly, so now we're breathing in the heavy, that which feels heavy. And breathing out that which feels light and ethereal and expansive. And working with polarities, breathing in the heavy, breathing out the light. Courageously breathing in, trusting that you have the capacity. And generously breathing out as you offer your gift to the world, you share it. Here, have some of mine. I have plenty. Let me give you some of my lightness. And we change the texture again, this time breathing in the hot and breathing out the cool. And a different texture, this time the breathing in the small and cramped. And breathing out the spacious and expansive. And we're just curious, it's just an experiment. Can we stay open even here? And then moving into a practice of breathing in suffering and breathing out love. Whatever shape or texture that will take for you. Breathing in suffering and breathing out love. And then picturing before you someone whom you care for deeply, someone who you adore, and start to practice Tonglen with them, inhaling their suffering, exhaling your love for them to breathe in. You know that your shade of suffering is felt by many others. It's definitely not unique. So you're finding that piece of suffering with them and you're breathing it in, deep down into your navel, where you know it, you can trust for it to be transmuted. And then as you exhale, you're generously sharing your love so that they feel it, they experience it, they're filled with it. And then moving the practice to someone whom you know, you see regularly, but you're not that close to. Someone you feel fairly neutral about. You'd always smile and say hello to them, but you don't know perhaps where they live or their life story. A neutral person. And as you breathe in, you take that piece of suffering from them, just the same as yours. You breathe it into yourself. And as you breathe out, you give them your love. You let them feel it, experience it, inhale it. And then picturing someone who offers you the gift of really showing you your shadow, someone who you might describe as an enemy, who really gets under your skin. And let them offer you the gift of experiencing, breathing in their suffering, the part of them that feels the same thing that you feel. And you courageously take that in with your next in-breath. And lovingly and generously exhale out your love to them. Let them be filled with your love with every exhale you take. And taking time to reflect on all sentient beings feeling the same suffering as you, whatever the narrative, the story is of your suffering, you know that you're not alone. And on your next inhale, you're going to breathe it in, all of their suffering, every sentient being. They might have a different story, but the feeling is the same. You find that part in them, breathe it in. That's how immense you are, you can do that. And as you exhale, you are showering them with your sensation of love so that they can experience that, they can know it, be held by it, be filled by it. All sentient beings on earth. And what a gift to breathe in their suffering and exchange it for your love. How courageous your heart. And then releasing the practice, just returning to an easy breath. Allowing yourself to feel what it is that you feel. Softening the corners of your lips, the corners of your eyes. That feeling of softness that comes with contentment, letting that drop down into your heart. Maybe even down into the pelvis. And blessings to all the teachers in our lives, all the mirrors that reflect for us so that we are able to see and we can strengthen our ability to stay open. Because our ability is immense. And bringing your hands to your heart center, dropping your forehead. The love inside of me sees the love inside of you. Namaste.